Hey, what's up? This is Jake from Chess Nakama, your chess friend. We are still in the Tata Steel Chess Masters 2026. While I may not cover every single game, we will at least dive deep into some of the most remarkable matches that are happening right now. Today we have a game between Gukesh Dommaraju and Vladimir Fedoseev in round 7 of the tournament. This game is critical for Gukesh if he wants to catch up to the leaders, as prior to this match, he suffered two consecutive losses against Abdusattorov and Giri. As for Fedoseev, his only loss came against Hans Niemann in the opening round. Since then, he has been steadily climbing the standings with 2 wins and 4 draws. So here we have Fedoseev playing white while Gukesh is playing black. D4 by Fedoseev, knight of 6 by Gukesh, c4, e6, knight c3, and bishop b4. We have the Nimzo Indian defense here. Now white can go e3 here, the main line, knight f3, 3 knights variation, or the classical queen c2, which Fedoseev chooses to play. d5 by Gukesh, knight f3, castles, e3, d6 now, bishop e2, bishop b7, c takes d5, e takes d5, a3, asking this bishop, do you want to take the knight or go back? Gukesh said, I'll go back. Bishop e7, b4, knight b d7, so normal development by Gukesh. Rook b1, c6 here, castle by Fedoseev. Bishop d7, eyeing this diagonal for Gukesh, and Fedoseev replied with knight h4, planning to place this knight on f5, attacking this dark square bishop here that's looking on the h2 pawn. Rook e8 by Gukesh, finally knight f5, attacking this bishop. Gukesh tucked his bishop on f8, f3 by Fedoseev, g6, kicking this knight away, at g3, rook c8 now, making use of this rook early on the game. Bishop d2, connecting the rooks with Fedoseev, bishop g7, and here we have e4 by Fedoseev. So here, before this move, actually the game is balanced, it's even, until Fedoseev went for e4. The engine didn't really like this. It's giving a slight advantage for black in this position, but what's the idea with the move e4 here? So Fedoseev was planning to go for e5 next, kicking this knight, and this knight has little to no squares to jump to. He can only jump to h5 and be protected with his pawn because no squares available, and these squares are protected by this pawn here. If this knight goes to h5, then Fedoseev will just take it with the knight, and this pawn structure here by black is damaged. So that's the idea here for Fedoseev. And Gukesh, on his part, he decided to counter on the left flank. He played c5. Now b takes c5, b takes c5, and here you cannot really capture this hanging bishop here. This looks yummy, but if you take this with white, let's just say you take this with your rook, and then black can simply take the pawn on d4, and your knight is sad. It cannot move. It's pinned pin to the queen, so white has to go rook b3, at least defending this knight. And then pawn just simply captures the knight. Rook takes the pawn. Rook takes rook. Bishop takes rook. And pawn takes the pawn on e4. Knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. And here, if white is not careful here, if he chooses to take his bishop here, there's actually a mate here by black. There's queen b6 check, and king has to go to h1. And then you start a smoother attack by playing knight f2 check, king g1, knight h3 check. You cannot take the knight on h3 because it's discovered check by the queen. So king has to go back to h1, and there we go. Queen g1 check. You cannot take the queen. Again, there's the knight protecting the queen. So you have to take with the rook, and the smooth is smothered checkmate. Knight f2 check. So Fedoseev decided to go e5. Went with his plan, moved e5. And Gukesh took the d4 anyway. Fedoseev takes the knight. Gukesh takes the knight on c3. And here Fedoseev decided to preserve this dark square bishop. He moved bishop c1. And in this position, black is a little bit better here, but one of these bishops here by black is gonna fall. So Gukesh has to decide here which of these bishops he's going to preserve. So Gukesh decided to take the s6 pawn and leave this bishop here for the rook, which Fedoseev happily captured. Knight c5 attacking the rook. Rook goes back to b4. a5 continues to harass the rook. Rook to b5 now. And here h5 by Gukesh. The plan is to move h4. And for white here, you cannot really take this pawn. This is not a free pawn, so you take the pawn. There's actually this queen d4 check, and king moves to h1. h4 anyway by black, and your knight is not happy. You can't go here because there are pieces in these squares, and these squares are black's territory now. So yeah, this is losing for white in this position. So yeah, it's h5 by Gukesh, and rook d1 by Fedoseev, actually defending this d4 square. h4 anyway for black. At h1, placing his knight here on h1, which is not really a good square for a knight anyway, but the knight is safe. So black continues knight e6. Rook b takes d5. And here, after Gukesh sacrificed the bishop on b7, he sacrificed another piece. She went knight d4. Rook takes d4. In this position, even though black is down with two minor pieces, but his position is better according to the engine. He's got this passed pawn that is really annoying for white. There's actually only one move here that continues the advantage for black, and that is queen b6, pinning this rook right here, double attacking by this bishop. Fedoseev went king f1, bishop takes d4, a4, rook e d8, and bishop b5, bishop e3 now, offering a bishop exchange. Now, if you're white, you cannot really take this, because if you take that, there's actually is rook takes d1 check, queen takes d1, and here black's queen just simply captures the bishop on e3 and controls this diagonal for this pawn. And if you try to defend it with bishop d3, simply queen takes the bishop and queen takes queen, and then c2 anyway by black, and you cannot stop this pawn from promoting. And black is so much better here. White is losing. So here Fedoseev actually did not do anything, but instead he went d3, bishop d3. Bishop captures the bishop by Gukesh. Rook captures the bishop. Rook d4 now. Knight f2 now. Finally, the knights rejoin the party. Rook b4. Planning to go b2 next. Knight d1, defending the square and hoping to capture this pawn here. Queen d6 by Gukesh. Eyeing for this h2 pawn. Fedoseev takes care of it, h3. King g7 by Gukesh, and here Fedoseev's position here is not good according to the engine, and by taking this pawn here on c3, he just made it worse. This is actually a losing move according to the engine. So here Gukesh found the brilliant move. He went rook b3. What a brilliant move by Gukesh. White cannot really take this. Rook on v3. Say if you take that, if you're white, then queen captures the bishop with a check, and wherever this king goes, this rook is in danger. Let's just say you go king f2, then there's queen d2 check, and king goes back to f1, and capture, and knight dies next. So yeah, so Fedoseev decided to move his queen to d2, and here we have queen b4 by Gukesh pinning this knight here. Sad knight. He just came back from the corner to join the fight, and now he can't move. And in this position here, Fedoseev tried to go kamikaze with his bishop. Bishop takes c6, and Gukesh simply takes the knight on c3. And Fedoseev here he thought for a few minutes, and then brought his bishop to c2, which is he probably missed this, and he was losing anyway in this position. In this position, Fedoseev resigns, knowing that rook f3 is coming with a check, and his queen is undefended. Let's see if white continues to play here. There's rook f3 check. Your queen is hanging, so king goes near the queen to defend the queen. And then we have rook e8. King has to move to d1. And then rook f1 and mate in 1 now. So yeah, this was a very nice game for Gukesh. I think the deciding factor there was the e4 push by Fedoseev that took away the balance of the game and opened up a window of opportunity for Gukesh to take over this game. So Gukesh, after that 2 losses in a row, he came back strong and won this game with precision against a very strong opponent in Vladimir Fedoseev. So yeah, that is the game, and thank you for watching. Till next time.